Today's lesson is 8.4, multiplying two-digit by two-digit numbers. The objective for today is that you will use partial products to multiply two-digit numbers by two-digit numbers and find the products. The first problem we're looking at says that Miss Younger has 12 weeks to practice for a running race. Over the course of 1 week, she plans to run 15 miles. How many miles will Miss Younger run in all? So each week she wants to run 15 miles. She's going to do this for 12 weeks. So looking at what I already know when it comes to solving word problems, taking a look at my 12 weeks, well, if each week she's going to run 15 miles, and I'm trying to figure out how much she runs all together, I'm going to multiply 12 times 15. So today we're focusing on how we can multiply two-digit numbers by two-digit numbers using standard algorithm. But the first thing we're going to look at is our box diagram, which we've been working on. So I put my 10 and my 5 up here for this top part, which would be my 15. And this side I've got my 12. 12 is one of my basic facts, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that there. So I'm going to do 12 times 10, which would give me 120. And then I'm going to do 12 times 5, which would be 60. These are my partial products, and we know with partial products I must add them together to give me my whole total of 180 miles. But what we're really going to look at today is how we could do this in standard algorithm. Within standard algorithm, I'm looking at starting with this 5. So I start with this 5, and I would multiply 5 times 2, which gives me my 10. So I write down my 0, I carry my 1. 5 times 1 gives me 5, plus whatever number I've carried, which gives me the 60. Well, now what I really like to do is make sure that I cross off the 5 when I'm done multiplying everything times it, and I erase that number that I carried, because I don't want to carry it again. I need to make sure that I don't try to add it again, because I've already taken care of it. Now I'm ready to move on and multiply everything times this 1. But what I cannot forget is because I've moved over to the tens place, when I go down for my partial products, I have to put a 0 in the ones place. This is kind of what I like to refer to as taking care of the place value, or holding that place value to make sure we don't lose it. And we've moved over to the 10, so we need to make sure that we have a 0 in the ones down here. Now I start with the same number I started with last time, so 1 times 2, which gives me 2. Then there's nothing to carry, so I multiply 1 times 1, which is 1. Now I have 60 plus 120, and I add those together again, giving me 180. We're going to do another example of standard algorithm using this problem right here, 38 times 14. Well, I'm going to start with my 4 times my 8. 4 times 8, which will give me 32. So I write down my 2, I carry my 3. 4 times 3 is 12, plus whatever number I've carried, which would be 12 plus 3, which gives me 15. Now, I'm done with this 3, so I cross it off or erase it. I've multiplied everything I can times this 4, so I cross them off. Now I'm ready to move on and multiply everything times the 1. But because I've moved over to the tens place, I have to put a 0 in the ones place to hold that place value. So now I start with the same number I started with last time, 1 times 8, which gives me 8. And then I multiply straight up. 1 times 3 gives me 3. Now I'll add my partial products together, and I will end up doing 5 plus 8, which will give me 13. Carrying my 1, 3 plus 1 is 4, plus another 1 is 5. So my final answer would be 532. I know a lot of you have already been practicing this, so let's go ahead, and I want you to try these two in your notes. Again, have them ready to show me when you get back to class. I know that they're written going across right here, but I want you to rewrite them in your notes going up and down so I can actually see how you're solving it. Solve both of these problems.